Morning, welcome back. We're going to do a little cleaning this morning. It's actually got a little bit of cloud, so it might not be too bad. But I got the long sleeve shirts on. It's Arizona, in the middle of summer. You don't want to be out in the sun. Let's go take a look. As you can see, this is one greasy beast. I don't know where it's been leaking. I thought it was leaking out of the Kickstarter shaft, but I cleaned it up with brake clean and it seemed to not be leaking. But whole bottom side of everything is just covered in about 8 feet of grease. So we're going to degrease it and power wash it, I guess, and see how it comes out. Well, that was fun. You might have saw at the end there, me wetting myself down. That's a Arizona swamp cooler. If you don't have one in the garage, you just wet your clothes. Yeah, you're gonna be damp all day, but it keeps you a lot cooler. So that's what I was doing there. One of the reasons you wanna wash your bike for sure is check for cracks and broken parts, because everything, I swear some of that stuff that was on the swing arm has been there since the 80s. It was like clay that was like it's still stuck on there. I generally don't use power washers on motorcycles because I don't like to ruin bearings and stuff like that, but this one kind of needed it. It's still not clean. I'm gonna have to take the swing arm apart, but I did just initially find some stuff wrong with this bike that I'm gonna have to address, so let's take a look. So you can see the double master link, one with the clip facing the right way, one facing with the other way. You always want it this way, because if the wheels going this, if the chain's going this way, I guess the idea is if it caught on something and it hits, it can't pull the clip off, or at least not very easy. But if it's this way, it could possibly catch and just knock your clip off, and then your chain comes off. Then you have a bad day. So I was cleaning this. I happen to notice here, you can see that is broken. And then I happen to notice, oh, that one's cracked. And then, oh, that one's broken. And then a couple of them are okay. And then, oh yeah, that one's cracked. So that's not good. And the ironic thing is, someone wrote, oh, maybe it washed off. It used to say on the sprocket, torque. And I guess they gave them all the torques, because I think that was probably way over torqued. And that's why I broke it, but I could be wrong. If you know, let me know. Is this a common thing? Ooh, that one's cracked too. So this hub is pretty much junk. It looks like the other bike, the rear hub is good, and the rear brake is in better shape on the other bike, and it came with the new counter shaft sprocket. So as you can see here, brand new rear sprocket, ancient chain, wore out front sprocket. And I don't know if it's ever even been rode with this sprocket, because it doesn't really look like it, I don't think. So you don't want to mismatch this stuff. But I have a new 14 or 14, I think, in the box that came with the bike. So I have a new counter shaft
and I have the new rear sprocket, so I'll probably take the wheel off the other bike and put the new counter shaft on this and a new chain. That'll take care of the drivetrain on this. I'll swap out the rear tires and possibly figure out which brakes are the better of the brakes. Also, I was just doing a quick little thing, and I happened to notice this. So this right here, that is a crack. It may be kind of hard to see in the video. That's a crack. So once again, don't know, did they give all the torques to these, way too much or whatever, but it looks like the fork legs are the same on both sides. I assume getting a fork lower won't be too hard, or maybe even a complete fork. So yeah, I'll be looking for one of those. So I'll have to take at least one fork off my other bike and put it on this bike. I don't know. So more carnage. Took the forks off the bike that is going to be the first running bike. And when I took the front wheel off, I noticed this. It is cracked right through where the spoke goes in, and it's cracked into the brake hub, which is pretty impressive, really. It broke all the way through the magnesium except for the brake. You can see it stops right where the brake lining is. So yeah, now I have to buy a rim. So now I need 2 rims, or at least 2 hubs for the other bike when I get it going. So I was taking another look at the other wheel that I thought was good, and it turns out it's cracked too, straight through the spoke and on the back side down to about the middle of the hub. So now I don't have a good front wheel at all. So minimum, I got to find a hub and relace it, or just a whole wheel. So that's just great. 3 out of 4 of the wheels were bad on 2 bikes. That's not a very good batting average, 3 out of 4. 75% of the wheels were broke. But I didn't look at them. You always want to check rims for cracks. I didn't, so this is what you get when you don't look at a bike closely, even though I was super tired. So kind of another frustrating working on your vintage bike day. They kind of all are, they can be that way. Yeah, it's just going to be issue after issue after issue, more than likely, just to, fixing broken parts and trying to figure out how things go together, and is it put together right, or is it cobbled together, or why is it doing this? I thought just getting them running and, racing wouldn't be that much work. I honestly did. I thought, if they got compression and, they're mostly there, I'll have them one running pretty quick, but it's frustrating. I wanted to have this done a lot faster. It's the way life goes, though. It never goes on your timetable. It's always that timetable. And that timetable is whatever it takes to get it done. It ain't gonna fix itself, unfortunately. Sometimes if you don't dig, you never find anything wrong. That old guy thing where I don't want anything to be wrong, so I never go to the doctor. That's kind of true, but then when you show up at the doctor and you haven't been there for 25 years, you're like, well, this is wrong, that's wrong, this wrong, that's wore out, this is wore out, that's not right. And then you're like, oh my God, this is why I never went to the doctor. But if you would have went to the doctor, they would have fixed it a long time ago when it got so bad, and it wouldn't have been such a big deal. So I guess, dirt bikes are kind of like going to the doctor. You don't want to go. I'm sorry. I don't mind working on dirt bikes. I really don't, but I prefer to ride them. At the end of the day, if I had to pick between coming out here and working on a bike or going out and riding the bike, I'm normally going to pick riding the bike. But, I digress. That's just me. But I don't hate working on dirt bikes. I just, sometimes you get frustrated.